A Less Than Royal Narcissist, Part 17. Stripped. In February, it was reported that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had been stripped of their duties as Buckingham Palace confirmed that the pair will not be returning to work as members of the royal family after they relocated to America. As I have explained previously, the move to America was part of an instinctive response by Meghan Markle to isolate Prince Harry as her intimate partner, primary source, from perceived interfering influences of members of the royal family. It was also done, in effect, to issue a silent treatment to the British press, since their coverage and commentary of Miss Markle and her husband threatened her control. And therefore, the response, which had included, as earlier reported, no longer engaging with 4 newspapers, was part of asserting control over them by issuing, in effect, a silent treatment. Of course, the way that the narcissism works with regard to the type of narcissist that Miss Markle is that it's all about control in the moment, not last week and not a month in the future. And the narcissism is hugely effective at obtaining control. It always achieves it. It either does it directly, indirectly, or as a consequence of withdrawal. And if you want to understand more about those 3 assertions of control that the narcissist uses, please go to the Knowledge Vault and obtain the 3 assertions of control. In asserting control by relocating to the United States, control was indeed obtained, but then a collateral consequence arises. Removal from the royal family means being stripped of duties and titles. And therefore, in a statement, the palace said that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will return to the royal family all their honorary military appointments and royal patronages. Following conversations with the Duke, the Queen has written confirming that in stepping away from the work of the royal family, it is not possible to continue with the responsibilities and duties that come with a life of public service, a statement said. While all are saddened by their decision, the Duke and Duchess remain much-loved members of the family. Accordingly, as a consequence of this assertion of control by moving to the United States, a collateral consequence has arisen whereby various duties and titles and honorary military appointments and royal patronages are lost. This will wound Miss Markle. It reduces her importance, causes her, in the unconscious, to believe that she isn't important and doesn't matter. Of course, consciously, this will manifest as seen as a mean-spirited and unnecessary action, or I wasn't bothered about those titles anyway, I would much rather have my freedom by living in the United States. But of course, it is a threat to control, and therefore there has to be a response to that. And as a consequence of the removal of these appointments, which followed a 12-month review of the duties, following what was called Megxit in January 2020, when the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced plans to step back as senior members of the British royal family become financially independent. This has resulted in the military, Commonwealth and charitable associations reverting to the Queen, namely the Royal Marines, RAF Honington, Royal Navy Small Ships and Diving, the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, the Rugby Football Union, the Rugby Football League, the Royal National Theatre and the Association of Commonwealth Universities. All of those titles and that prestige and the patronages taken away as a collateral consequence of the move, stepping away from the work of the royal family. And of course, that threatens Miss Markle's control, which means that the narcissism needs to do something in response. And, indeed, something in response did occur, namely a statement. A spokesperson for Prince Harry and Miss Markle said in the statement, "As evidenced by their work over the past year," triangulation with the work, "the Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain committed to their duty and service to the United Kingdom." How, when they live in the United States? That evidence is a degree of contradiction. and around the world, and have offered their continued support to the organisations they have represented regardless of official role. They added, "We can all live a life of service. Service is universal," whatever that actually means. But there's a degree of grandiosity there, and also, of course, it's basically saying, notwithstanding the fact that you've taken these titles away, we will still do what we want, and we will continue to support them, and of course, we can all live a life of service. And this statement is a direct assertion of control over the Queen and others to nullify the threat to control caused by the loss of the relevant titles, patronages and duties, etc. Another example of the narcissism in action, whereby in asserting control it causes a collateral consequence. That collateral consequence then threatens control, resulting in a response from the narcissist thereafter, evidencing further aspects of the narcissistic dynamic. Bully for you. Meghan Markle is said to be saddened by an explosive report in the Times of London, which has seen an email sent by her former Kensington Palace Communications Secretary raising concerns about her bullying behaviour. Bullying isn't seen in all narcissists, but it will appear with some, driven by a sense of entitlement to behave as the narcissist wishes, a lack of accountability towards other people, a lack of emotional empathy for the feelings and state of other individuals, and a form, of course, of asserting control. Bullying arises as a consequence of the narcissist perceiving, unconsciously, a threat to their control, and thereafter responding with a form of manipulation. The bullying is done to assert control. It evidences a lack of emotional empathy and is a form of manipulation, albeit a rather rudimentary one. This has been reported, and of course there will be disputes raised about whether it has actually happened. And what I'm analysing is what is reported, and it has to be recognised that it might be the case that no bullying took place. However, if it has, then it is worth reporting and analysing the incident that has arisen and is alleged, and also the response to it. The Times' report, which comes just days before CBS broadcasts a no-holds-barred interview with Miss Markle and her husband Prince Harry, also claimed that the Duchess of Sussex wore earrings gifted to her by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman weeks after the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Again, if that is correct, then that demonstrates a sense of entitlement, a lack of emotional empathy for wearing such earrings close to the murder of an individual. Now, of course, a sense of perspective is important here, that it might be the case that there was an awareness of who the earrings came from. It might be that it had been forgotten that those earrings came from that individual. But if that was not the case, the wearing of such earrings in such circumstances does exhibit a lack of emotional empathy and a sense of entitlement and a lack of accountability. Miss Markle's spokesman told the newspaper that the report was a smear campaign, and of course, responding in such, because it is a threat to the narcissist's control, means that such an allegation will be made, and that the Duchess of Sussex was upset by the claims, pity play, because she's been the target of bullying herself, pity play, and is deeply committed to supporting those who had experienced pain and trauma, false compassion, cognitive empathy. The Times obtained an email sent in October 2018 by Jason Knauf, a former communications executive for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who now works as the CEO of the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. He sent the message to Simon Case, then Prince William's private secretary, and it was forwarded to Samantha Carruthers, the former head of HR for Prince Charles. According to the Times, which redacted the names of those involved, Knauf said in his email, "I'm very concerned that the Duchess was able to bully 2 PAs out of the household in the past year. The treatment of X was totally unacceptable. The Duchess seems intent on always having someone in her sights. She's bullying Y and seeking to undermine her confidence. We have had report after report from people who have witnessed unacceptable behaviour towards Y." Again, on the basis that this is correct and has been reported accurately, this demonstrates the assertion of control over two PAs, a lack of emotional empathy, and manipulative behaviour. In the email, Knauf is reported to have said that Carruthers agreed with me on all counts that the situation was very serious, and he raised concerns that nothing would be done about the matter. I questioned if the household policy on bullying and harassment applies to principals, he is reported to have written. The complaint did not progress, according to the Times, and Knauf quit the month after it was sent. A spokesman for the Duchess of Sussex said, "Let's just call this what it is, a calculated smear campaign based on misleading and harmful misinformation. We are disappointed to see this defamatory portrayal of the Duchess of Sussex given credibility by a media outlet." If the allegations are true, they are unsurprising as the behaviour of a narcissist. There does appear to be evidence supporting them, but it remains to be seen what happens following the inquiry into the behaviour, which is due to take place. The response from the spokesman is entirely predictable. The allegations of bullying are a threat to control, and therefore that threat has to be nullified. And this bullish response, alleging a smear campaign, projection, and the assertion of control, is an entirely understandable response. It's no coincidence that distorted several-year-old accusations aimed at undermining the Duchess are being briefed to the British media shortly before she and the Duke are due to speak openly and honestly about their experience of recent years. In a detailed legal letter of rebuttal to the Times, we have addressed these defamatory claims in full, including spurious allegations regarding the use of gifts loaned to the Duchess by the Crown. The Duchess is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself, and is deeply committed to supporting those who have experienced pain and trauma. She is determined to continue her work building compassion around the world, and will keep striving to set an example for doing what is right and doing what is good. Assertion of control, facade management, grandiosity, sense of omnipotence. Separate to the bullying allegations, the Times claimed that Markle wore earrings to a formal dinner in Fiji in 2018 that were a wedding gift from Mohammed bin Salman. At the time of the dinner, it was reported that the jewellery was borrowed. A source told the Times that Markle asked aides to tell the media that they were borrowed when they briefed journalists about her outfit for the state dinner. Her lawyers denied that she had misled anyone about the earrings' provenance. Again, if this is correct, then this is deflection and an assertion of control. Of course, what we are also seeing is a likely clash between narcissists, and that the events spoken of may well have occurred, and the fact that they have been brought up, and they are several-year-old accusations, as the spokesman states, demonstrates that whoever has raised them is likely to be a narcissist and is digging up the past, another common narcissistic manipulation, and that another narcissist is taking this action as part of asserting control over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It will not come as a surprise to any of you listening that there are numerous narcissists within the royal family. The Queen is not one, but there are others, and Prince Andrew being one, Prince Charles being another, the Duke of Edinburgh being another, and in such circumstances it is entirely likely that another narcissist, maybe a narcissist working amongst the staff also, is asserting control over Meghan Markle through this digging up the past. And that then threatens her control, so a spokesman has to assert control by deflection and rejection and denial. A classic example of when narcissists collide. Moreover, of course, there is the forthcoming interview with Oprah Winfrey. And this is going to reveal further information, and it is likely that the relevant narcissist, either within the royal family or within the royal household or possibly even within the media, is taking these steps in an attempt to derail ahead of the interview the basis of credibility of what might be announced. Almost the tit-for-tat behaviour that can be examined and seen that occurs between narcissists. One makes an allegation as they're part of the assertion of control. It offends the control, or rather it defends the need for control of the other narcissist, who then responds in kind. And like a tennis match, it goes back and forth. What can be said, as I have said before, that Meghan Markle is the gift that keeps on giving, and of course the environment within which she operated and has sought to extricate herself from, while still continuing to assert control over it, even from afar, means that this saga is far from over. And of course, we have the Oprah Winfrey sit-down interview coming up, which no doubt will provide further opportunity to examine a not-so-royal narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.